All right, so the NBA has officially announced a change to the All-Star game and the way that, or I guess the format that the All-Star game will be played in this year. And so we're going to review what the format is, talk about what I like, what I don't like, what I would do personally if I was in charge of redoing the All-Star game and maximizing the game, and also just give some other various thoughts on this situation. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 2,000 subscriber mark on the channel. What am I saying? Uploading consistent NBA content every single day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So the All-Star game will officially be a mini tournament featuring 4 teams, with 3 teams of NBA All-Stars and the 4th team being the Rising Stars champion, which is really interesting. And I think we start with that. The Rising Stars champion, that team is going to try their butt off. It's going to be a team composed of sophomores, rookies, and potentially a G League player or 2. In all likelihood, it'll be like 1 G League player, a couple sophomores, couple rookies. But I guess teams of 8, right? So maybe there'll be 2 G League players, 3 rookies, 3 sophomores. Not entirely sure what the Rising Stars challenge is going to look like. But here's the thing. The All-Star teams are all going to be noticeably better than the rookie, sophomore, Rising Star team. But the rookie, sophomore, Rising Star team is going to want to win a lot more than the All-Star teams, in my opinion. The All-Star game has obviously devolved over the past several years into basically a total joke. The only All-Star game that I can remember in recent memory actually being a good game was the game after Kobe passed in 2020, where number one, I feel like they were playing a little bit more intently just because of the passing of Kobe in respect of him. But number two, it wound up being a very close game. They were playing for the Kobe Bryant trophy, the ELO ending with the number 24, all that type of stuff. And it came down to the very last couple minutes, and it was basically the best players in the world going absolutely at it and really trying to win. That was the last time that the All-Star game has had real meaning, though, and honestly, that is the only time that the All-Star game has had real meaning or real passion from the players since early 2010s, if that, realistically. And the problem is it's just continued to get worse as the years go on and on and on. Last year was a total disaster. 211 to 186, y'all. They scored 297 combined points. Sorry, 397 combined points. Almost 400 points in a 4-quarter game. It was a total joke. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I watched parts of it, but Cat had freaking 50 points. I promise y'all, in an All-Star game, Cat is not dropping anything close to 50 points if they're not just screwing around. How many players? 32 for Halliburton, 39 for Dame, 36 for Jaylen Brown. Like, it was a joke. It was a total joke, obviously. And it's the type of thing where it's just like, there does need to be reform made, at least on the NBA side. I'm sure the players themselves don't care, but the NBA side, they do want reform because they want the players to take the All-Star game seriously and they want this to matter. And the one thing I will say is that I do think this system will entice more effort because, number one, the games are only played till 40 teams of 8, and the 4th team being that Rising Stars team probably does bring in more effort from the All-Star teams, quite simply because they're not going to want to lose to a bunch of rookies, basically. Is I think the key there to why it will create a more competitive game. But additionally, they get a lot of money. Championship team gets 125K per player. Second place gets 50K per player. Third and fourth place get 25K per player. With that being said, for every team except for the Rising Stars team, again, every player on the team, all these All-Stars are making 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars a year, depending. Like, probably the lowest paid All-Star will be making nearly $20 million a year, except, I don't know, Wemby's on a rookie contract still, so maybe he's below that 20 million mark right now. I don't exactly remember where his contract is, but like, in general, these guys don't need this money. 125K is chump change to guys making $10+ million, and especially these guys on max contracts. Like, they don't care. 125K doesn't matter to those dudes. It is a literal drop in the bucket. They wipe their butt with 125K. As crazy as that is to say, but it's kind of true. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just don't care about the money. I don't really think this adds much value to the All-Star game, in all honesty, for the actual players. They do have honorary general managers and coaches. Chuck, Shaq, and Kenny will be GMs of the NBA All-Stars. Candace Parker will be the GM of the Rising Stars team. The head coach and assistant coach of the top Eastern Conference and Western Conference teams will coach the 4 teams. So does that mean that there will be a head coach coaching and an assistant coach coaching for each team? or a head coach from the top Western Conference team will coach one team and the assistant coach will coach another team. I don't really know. I don't think that one has been spelled out specifically, but I honestly don't really care. Who cares who's coaching the All-Star games? Now, I don't know if they talk about this on the last slide, but let's see. Oh, no, they don't. All-Star voting does begin Thursday, December 19th. But the thing that Bleacher Report forgot to mention in this tweet is that, and it's right here, Charles Barkley, Shaq, and Kenny Smith will be drafting from a pool of the 24 NBA All-Star selections. So they're going to draft their teams of 8 from the pool. It won't be an auto-assigned or randomized draft or teams for that section. And then the winner of the Rising Stars Challenge, which I don't know if the Rising Stars is also a draft or not. I don't remember, in all honesty, if it is or not. But whatever team wins the Rising Stars Challenge obviously will be Candace Parker's team, and that will not be a drafted team, although it may be drafted for the Rising Stars Challenge. Obviously, it won't be drafted for the actual All-Star game. So here's the thing, y'all. I do think it'll actually be interesting and competitive this year. Like, for this year specifically, I think this might bring some ratings up for the All-Star game a little bit and make people a little more interested and potentially provide more competition. Now, with that being said, KD has already come out and said that he does not like this system at all and that he thinks they should go back to the original system. In fact, I'm going to pull up KD right now. I should have pulled this up before the video, but I'm going to pull up what KD said right now about the All-Star game because I thought it was pretty funny. So I asked KD what he thought about the new format from the NBA All-Star game. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Terrible. We should just go back to East-West, which, by the way, it was East-West last year. So I don't know if I totally agree with KD's sentiment in that aspect, but here's the thing. The players don't care. That's what the honest truth is here. That's what this answer by KD demonstrates. The actual All-Stars, they don't care about the All-Star game. It's not helping their team win in the regular season. There's no incentive to winning the All-Star game besides a monetary prize that, again, like we just talked about, has no real motivating value to these All-Stars. Overall, it's just not a system that I think is going to be particularly well designed and particularly effective in actually getting the All-Stars to care. The only part that I think might get them to care realistically is the Rising Stars team aspect of it. It'll be interesting to see if some of the teams like try really hard and some of the teams don't. I am interested to watch it. Like I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I'm not more interested this year about the All-Star game than I was last year. Like I am. So in that respect, it probably is a good thing for the NBA. But long term, if I was going to do the All-Star game, number one, they should have a one-on-one tournament. 100%. That's like the thing that fans have been asking for forever. I know that some of the stars wouldn't want to play in a one-on-one tournament, but some of them would. Do a one-on-one tournament with $1 million grand prize. $1 million grand prize, $500K to second place, $250K to third place. Something like that. They have the money. I'm sure they can find it somewhere. Do a one-on-one tournament, and don't just put all-stars in it. Do a one-on-one tournament with like Anthony Edwards, John Morant, guys who are like that, who are exciting, superstars. Like if you could get LeBron or somebody like that to play, which you won't be able to, but if you could get a superstar, older name like that to play as well, that would be cool. But you could also include some of the guys who may not be all-stars, but are exciting, fun young players. Like that would be something that would be an absolute must-watch event at the All-Star game. It's the type of thing it's the type of thing that people have been asking for a long time. But in terms of the game itself, I don't really know how they get the players to care in a normal game format. The prize pool would have to be ridiculous, or there would have to be some sort of additional reward, kind of like the MLB All-Star game, where the winning team got home field advantage in the World Series for a very long time. I don't know if that's still a thing or not, but I think it might not be anymore. But if they were to, for example, guarantee that the Western Conference or Eastern Conference, they'd have East or West, the winner of the All-Star game, that conference gets home court advantage in the NBA Finals no matter what. That would get the players to try, I think, especially the players on teams that are competing, which, to be fair, most of the All-Stars are on teams that at least want to try to compete for a title. They may not be realistic title contenders, but they will play hard just off the off chance of getting that. So in my opinion, something like that actually guarantees a real benefit to the winner of the All-Star game in an East-West game would probably be the best way to try to find a good balance between still having East-West like old times, but getting the players to play with more motivation without having to do all this gimmicky BS like they're doing this year. So that's my thoughts at the end of the day. It'll be interesting to see how this year's All-Star game works and whether or not it winds up being a success or not. But as of right now, I think it'll be a temporary success, but I don't know if long-term this will be great. And I think it also raises the risk of injuries, potentially, with the system that they're doing this year. So I'm a little worried about that as well. With that being said, y'all let me know in the comment section down below what y'all think of this All-Star format. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.